In a quiet village in rural Africa, Mama Palesa was known as a gentle healer. She grew herbs behind her small clay house and helped mothers with fevers, babies with colic, and elders with aching joints. Children ran to her yard after school because she always had warm porridge and stories to share. But when a sudden drought struck the village and livestock began to die, fear crept in like a cold wind. At the village well, whispers began. "She works with plants no one else understands," one woman murmured. "How does she know which leaf heals and which one harms?" another added. What was once admiration slowly turned into suspicion. When the chief's grandson fell ill with a mysterious fever, all eyes shifted toward Mama Palesa. One evening, a group of villagers gathered outside her home. The local traditional diviner, pressured by fear and expectation, claimed the ancestors had revealed a dark shadow in the village. Fingers pointed at Mama Palesa. Someone shouted, "She is the reason for our suffering." The word which hung heavily in the air. Mama Palesa stood at her doorway, her head wrapped in a bright dock, her hands steady despite her racing heart. She did not scream. She did not curse. She simply said, "I have only ever healed, never harmed." But fear is louder than truth, and the crowd refused to listen. The next morning, the villagers gathered beneath the old mariola tree where disputes were settled. The chief announced that Mama Palesa would have to prove her innocence. Some demanded she be banished. Others wanted her heart burned. A few, especially the women she had helped, remained silent but uneasy. Just as the chief prepared to declare her fate, a young girl named Thandi stepped forward. "Mama Palesa saved my baby brother when he couldn't breathe," she said boldly. One by one, others began to speak, a farmer whose wound she cleaned, an elderly man whose pain she eased. The silence shifted. Suddenly, the chief's grandson, who had been ill, was carried to the gathering. Mama Palesa gently asked to examine him. She recognized the symptoms immediately: contaminated water from the river. She prepared a herbal mixture and instructed the family to boil their water before drinking. Within days, the boy recovered. When the villagers inspected the river upstream, they discovered a dead animal polluting the water. The drought had forced livestock closer to the source. The sickness had not come from witchcraft, but from neglect and fear. The same crowd that once shouted accusations now stood in embarrassment. Mama Palesa's heart had been damaged, her name stained by rumor. The chief publicly apologized. Though she forgave them, she spoke firmly, "A fear makes enemies of the innocent. Knowledge brings light." Years later, Mama Palesa trained young women in the knowledge of herbs and healing. She taught them not only about plants, but about courage. Her story became a lesson in the village. Not about witchcraft, but about how easily fear can blind a community. And beneath the same mariola tree where she was once accused, her students now taught others that wisdom is not something to fear, but something to protect.